When Jungkook breaks down on live TV, the truth behind his tears unravels a dangerous secret that no one saw coming, especially not his fans. "Turn the cameras off now!" The producer's voice cracked through the earpiece, but it was too late. The world was already watching. Jungkook stood frozen under the harsh studio lights, his breath shallow, eyes locked on the crumpled letter in his trembling hand. The applause had died. The silence in the room grew thick, almost physical, as millions watched the superstar's expression fracture live on national television. The glint of tears caught on his lashes, betraying the perfect image he had crafted for over a decade. He hadn't meant to read it, he wasn't supposed to, but something in the pristine white envelope left mysteriously in his dressing room minutes before the interview had felt too personal, too urgent. He had opened it. He had read the words. And now, he couldn't unsee them. The host tried to fill the space with nervous chatter, a brittle smile stretched too thin. "Jungkook, are you okay? We can take a moment if you—" But Jungkook didn't hear him. The words from the letter screamed in his head like a blade dragged across a chalkboard. "You let him die, and now you sing like nothing happened." His lips parted. He tried to speak. Nothing came out. The studio, the cameras, the lights, everything dimmed around the edges of his vision as the memory slammed into him. A flash of blood, a scream echoing in the rain, a name he hadn't said in years. Taehyung. A name buried beneath layers of silence and industry polish. A boy from his past. A secret no one was ever supposed to uncover. The show cut to commercial abruptly, leaving the audience stunned, hashtags exploding online within seconds. Jungkook breakdown. What happened to JK? Live on-air mystery. Backstage, chaos erupted. Jungkook was rushed out of frame, his handlers forming a protective wall around him, but his mind was elsewhere. Not in the present, not in the studio. But 5 years ago, in a back alley behind a recording studio in Busan, where everything had gone wrong. He sat on the floor of his dressing room now, fists clenched around the letter. His manager, Seonwoo, crouched beside him, voice low and firm. "Who sent that letter? Do you recognize the handwriting?" Jungkook didn't answer. He remembered Taehyung's eyes wild, frightened, and desperate tears he begged for help, and he remembered turning away. Not because he didn't care, but because caring had become dangerous. Taehyung had known something about the company, about the contracts, about the missing trainee that no one dared talk about. And then he disappeared. Until now. Until this letter. "Do you think it's a threat?" Seonwoo pressed, eyes darting to the security monitor. "Or someone from the press fishing for scandal?" But Jungkook had a feeling it was neither. The handwriting was too familiar, the message too cruel. Whoever sent it knew the truther, at least a version of it close enough to burn. That night, he ignored the world, ignored the trending topics, the desperate calls from Hybe's PR team, the demands for an apology or a statement. He sat by his apartment window in silence, the city glittering below like nothing had happened, and replayed the past. It had begun with whispers in the trainee dorms, rumors about a locked basement room in the old company building, about a camera, a contract, a choice. Taehyung had gotten too close. He had told Jungkook he was going to expose everything. Jungkook had begged him to stop. "They'll ruin you," he had said. But Taehyung had smiled that crooked smile and whispered, "Then they'll try." And then, one day, he was gone. A missing persons report quietly withdrawn, a final text left unread. Jungkook thought he had buried it all behind awards, behind sold-out arenas, behind the ever-smiling mask. But masks crack, and secrets bleed. The next morning, a single rose was found taped to the front door of Jungkook's apartment. No note, no message, just a white rose. The same kind that had been left on Taehyung's grave. Jungkook's chest tightened. He knew then that this wasn't over. Someone was watching. Someone wanted him to remember. And someone was finally ready to make him pay. "Do you believe in ghosts, Jungkook?" The voice came from the shadows, low, calm, and terrifying in its familiarity. Jungkook spun around, heart pounding so hard it echoed in his ears. He was alone in the studio corridor. Least he had thought he was. The hallway behind him was empty, dim, silent. But the voice had been real. It wasn't just in his head. He stepped back, adrenaline burning through him like gasoline. He'd barely slept since the incident on live TV. The letter, the rose. The memories he'd spent years burying now resurfacing like corpses clawing their way out of wet soil. And now, a voice. His phone buzzed in his jacket pocket. A text. Unknown number. You turned your back on the truth. He died for it. You performed for millions, but you forgot the one person who believed in you before the world did. You let him rot. Let's fix that. Attached was a grainy black and white image, a surveillance still. It showed Jungkook from behind, walking into the studio just this morning. The timestamp was today. The angle? From inside the building. Someone was watching him. His phone slipped from his hand, screen cracking on the floor. Seonwoo barged through the stairwell door moments later, out of breath. I've been calling you Jesus, what happened? He saw the expression on Jungkook's face and stopped cold. Jungkook said nothing, just handed him the phone. Seonwoo read the message, color draining from his face. How the hell? Okay, listen, we'll get cybersecurity on this. We'll sweep your apartment again. I'll talk to Hybe. You don't have to go on stage tonight. I'm not canceling, Jungkook said flatly, surprising even himself. Whoever this is, they want me scared, running. I'm not giving them that. You're not thinking straight. You haven't eaten. You haven't. I have to know who's doing this. And what if it's not just one person? Seonwoo hissed under his breath. What if this is connected to what happened back then? To what Taehyung found? Jungkook's jaw clenched. Then I need to finish what he started. The dressing room felt colder than usual. Jungkook sat in front of the mirror, staring at his reflection. A knock came at the door, soft but persistent. He expected a stylist, maybe a manager. Instead, the door creaked open and Min Yoongi stepped inside. I heard, Yoongi said quietly, eyes studying Jungkook's face. You heard what? That you broke down, that you got a letter, and that you've been seeing ghosts. Jungkook flinched. Who told you? Yoongi shut the door behind him, locking it. No one. I recognize the look. I've seen it before. In the mirror. You're not crazy. Jungkook didn't speak. The air between them tightened. Yoongi walked over, pulled something from the inside of his jacket, and dropped it onto the table. It was a small flash drive. What is it? Jungkook asked. Something I found before I left Hybe for good. It belonged to Taehyung. I wasn't supposed to see it, but I did, and I think you should too. Jungkook stared at it like it might explode. Why didn't you show this to anyone? Yoongi sat on the couch, rubbing his temples. Because it's bigger than you think. Bigger than one letter, one disappearance. I was told to shut up, to keep working. And after what happened to Taehyung, I believed them. What's on it? Yoongi looked up, eyes tired. A recording. A conversation between Taehyung and someone from the top, possibly the old CEO. They talk about a file, a list, names, places, payments, blackmail. Some kind of grooming scheme masked as trainee management. They called it Project Eden. Jungkook's blood ran cold. What happened to the file? No one knows, but Taehyung said he made a copy and hid it somewhere. That he'd only reveal it when he was sure he'd be safe. But he wasn't. No, Yoongi whispered. He wasn't. Back at his apartment that night, Jungkook plugged in the flash drive. The screen flickered. A low-resolution video loaded. The footage was grainy, time-stamped 4 months before Taehyung vanished. He sat in a dim room, face gaunt, voice shaking. If anyone finds this, it means I didn't make it. I've tried to go to the press, to the police. They're all in on it, or too afraid. The company has files on everyone. Everything is documented. They used us, trained us, branded us, and used our secrets to keep us in line. He looked directly into the camera. Jungkook, if you're seeing this, I'm sorry. I should have warned you earlier. I didn't want to drag you into it, but you deserve to know. You're the only one who can finish this. Find the safe house in Hapjeong. It's where I hid the drive. The real one, not this decoy. The screen went black. Jungkook couldn't breathe. His ears were ringing, his hands trembled. Another message arrived on his phone. You should have stayed quiet. He died screaming. Want to hear it? Attached was an audio file. No sender ID. He didn't open it. He turned off the phone, grabbed his jacket, and ran. The safe house was buried in the back alleys of Hapjeong, behind an abandoned cafe that had once served as a cover for trainee auditions in the early days of the company. Jungkook broke the lock. Dust exploded in the air as he forced the rusted door open. The smell hit himmeled, decayed paper, something sour and chemical. The room was small. A cot, a filing cabinet, old newspapers, and then he saw it. A hollowed-out speaker in the corner. Inside, wrapped in plastic, was another flash drive. His fingers brushed it. The air shifted. Someone was behind him. He turned. A man stood in the doorway, silhouetted by streetlight. Older, leather gloves, calm eyes. Nice to finally meet you, Jungkook, the man said. I've been watching you for a long time. Who are you? The man smiled, slow and chilling. You can call me Mr. K. I'm what's left of the system that made you. What do you want? I want what's mine. That drive. Jungkook stepped back. This belongs to Taehyung. Taehyung belonged to me. So did you. So do all of you. You killed him. I buried a threat, Mr. K said coldly. He could have been something great, but he chose to turn on his own. You wouldn't believe how many like him have disappeared. You were just too valuable to lose. Jungkook's voice shook. Why now? Why come after me? Mr. K stepped closer. Because you opened the door. You cried on TV. You cracked. And now the world smells blood. That letter? That rose? You think it was me? No, boy. That was someone else. Someone who still believes Taehyung can be avenged. Jungkook blinked. Then who? Mr. K's smile faded. We don't know, but they're smarter than you, and much more dangerous than me. Sirens wailed in the distance. Mr. K backed into the shadows. You're in the middle of a war you don't understand. Be careful what you resurrect, Jungkook. Then he was gone. Jungkook sank to the floor, the flash drive tight in his grip. Behind him, something buzzed. His old laptop. It had powered itself on. A blue screen flashed. Decrypting Project Eden. 70% complete. The hum of the laptop was the only sound in the safe house, low and mechanical, like a sleeping monster stirring beneath the floorboards. Jungkook sat motionless in front of the screen, eyes fixed on the pulsing numbers. Decrypting Project Eden. 999% complete. Each second stretched like a rubber band pulled too tight. Dust floated through the stale air, catching fragments of neon from the outside signs that filtered through the boarded windows. It smelled like damp wood, mold, and something iron something old. He didn't dare leave. Not now. He didn't know who was still watching, or whether Mr. K had truly walked away or was circling like a vulture. But something deeper than fear had taken root inside Jungkook, something more primal. He needed to know. Suddenly, the screen flickered. Static burst for a moment before a login prompt appeared, interrupting the decryption process. Enter passphrase. Jungkook's heart skipped. He stared. No, he muttered, leaning closer. Come on, you were opening. The progress bar had frozen at 12%. Locked. He scoured the desk drawers, checking for any hint, a written note, scribbles in the margins of books, an old planner. He even lifted the cot's thin mattress. Nothing. Then he remembered Taehyung's words in the video. You're the only one who can finish this. The words rolled over and over in his head, like waves crashing into rocks. Taehyung wouldn't have left a code he couldn't crack. This was meant for him. Personal. He tried the obvious first. Names, birth dates. Taehyung, his real name. Their debut date. Even the name of their old trainee dorm. Nothing worked. The cursor blinked on, blank and merciless. Jungkook shut his eyes, pulling a memory from the foregone quiet night when the two of them had snuck onto the roof of the training building. The city spread below them, neon and wild, and Taehyung had looked over with that crooked smile and whispered, "If I ever disappear, find me in the sky." He typed, "Find mine Theski." The screen paused, loading. Then, access granted. Jungkook's breath left him. The file opened. It wasn't just one document, it was a system in archive, labeled folders, audio recordings, videos, contracts, surveillance, dozens of names. Some he recognized top idols, actors, influencers, others were less known. Every file was tagged with the same code, EDN-P, followed by a string of numbers. Then he saw it, a folder labeled simply K97JK. His code, his ID. His finger hovered over the mouse, hesitating. He clicked. Inside, 4 video files, 1 PDF, and a photo. He opened the photo first. It was of him, 14 years old, sitting on the edge of a bunk bed, head down, unaware the picture was being taken. The image had a timestamp dated only a week after he joined as a trainee. His stomach twisted. He didn't remember anyone taking this. He opened the first video. A grainy, low-resolution feed of a room he recognized too well, the Hybe trainee counseling room. He was seated across from someone, his face pale, a hoodie drawn up. He didn't look at the camera. A voice spoke off-screen, male, older, calm. "You'll tell no one. You'll smile when you're told. Cry in private. The world will adore you as long as you stay quiet. Are we clear?" Yoongijungkook nodded slowly, no words. He clicked pause, recoiling. The second video showed Taehyung. Same room, same voice. This time, Taehyung was arguing, his voice shaky, desperate. "You promised you'd protect us. You said this system was about art, not leverage." "You think you're irreplaceable?" the voice asked, amused. "Everyone's got a version of you waiting in line. Be grateful you're even breathing." The file ended with Taehyung screaming, the sound abruptly cut. Jungkook covered his mouth, eyes burning. He opened the PDF. It was a contract, his contract, but not the one he remembered signing. This version was longer, hidden clauses, gag orders, behavior conditioning protocols. The section marked Discretion Protocol Zeta made his skin crawl. Beneath it, his own signature. He didn't remember signing it. His phone buzzed. Again. Unknown number. "You're getting warmer, but warmth burns." Attached, a video. He opened it. Security footage. Today, outside the safe house. A figure in a hoodie walking by. The camera zoomed in. "Yoongi." "No." Jungkook's chest tightened. He immediately called him. Voicemail. He grabbed the drive and bolted out of the building, running down the alley and into the street. He didn't stop, not for lights, not for cars. Just kept running until he reached Yoongi's studio in Itaewon. The lights were off. The door was cracked open. "Yoongi?" No answer. Jungkook pushed in. The studio was in chaos, monitors smashed, papers everywhere, a single speaker was still playing something on loop. A voice, Yoongis, recorded. They don't just silence people, they erase them. Erase their memories, their timelines. You think Taehyung disappeared? No, he was rewritten. Jungkook, if you're hearing this, they know about the drive, about me, and about the leak. I tried to stall them. I don't know how long I have. A pause, a click. The real video is in the cloud. Username is the same one Taehyung used Find Me in the Sky. Password, you already know. The message stopped. Jungkook turned slowly. A shadow moved across the hall. Someone was in the building. He grabbed a mic stand, heart hammering. A man stepped into the light. Not Mr. K, not a stranger. Jin! Kim Seokin. Hyung? Put it down, Kook, Jin said softly. You too? Jungkook whispered. Jin sighed, shutting the door behind him. I was protecting you, all of us. You think I didn't know what they did to Taehyung? You let it happen. I tried to stop it. I failed. You watched him die. No, Jin said quietly. I watched him choose to die, because he thought the truth was more important than living a lie, and maybe he was right. Jungkook lowered the mic stand. Jin stepped closer. You have the files? Jungkook nodded. Good, Jin said. Then we burn them. No. Jin's eyes darkened. You don't understand. This goes beyond HYBE, beyond K-pop. These files don't just take down bad people, they destroy lives, careers, families. Some of them are victims too. Just like you, just like me. Then we show that. We show the truth. You think the world cares about truth? Jin's voice rose. They want entertainment. They want pretty faces and marketable sob stories, not systemic rot, not real pain. Jungkook stood taller. Then let's change that. Jin's hand twitched. Don't make me stop you. You won't, Jungkook said. You're not him. They stared at each other in silence. Jin's shoulders slumped. No, I'm not. He turned and walked out. Jungkook uploaded the video to the cloud. He encrypted it again, this time under a new account, distributed it across 7 different platforms with time-delayed releases. Then he sat and waited. Outside, thunder rolled. Tomorrow, everything would change. It started raining before dawn. Jungkook sat by the window of Yoongi's trash studio, a hoodie pulled over his head, the weight of 1,000 invisible hands pressing into his chest. The glow of the laptop screen illuminated his face drawn, sleepless, haunted. Each droplet of rain smacked the glass like a ticking clock. Time was running out. Somewhere in the cloud, the truth waited to detonate. He had set the video to release at 9:00 a.m., synchronized across 5 different platforms: Vimeo, Dropbox, an anonymous Reddit leak server, 2 Korean forums known for whistleblower activity, and 1 international investigative journalism database. All under aliases, all encrypted, all protected by layers of digital contingency plans. If he didn't cancel it in time, the upload would go public, and the world would know everything. Taehyung's voice, the illegal surveillance footage, the gag contracts, Project Eden. But if he did cancel it, he would be complicit again. His phone rang. It was Seonwoo. Jungkook hesitated, then answered. Yeah? Where the hell are you? Seonwoo barked. HYBE just called me. Legal is going ballistic. There's a cyber leak on their internal servers. Someone's trying to trace the breach to your IP. I know, Jungkook said softly. What the fuck is going on? I have something Taehyung left behind. The real files, the proof. The line went dead silent. Seonwoo spoke again, but his voice was different, now quieter. How bad is it? Worse than we thought. There was a pause. Then, what are you planning to do? I already did it, Jungkook said, voice flat. The video goes live in 4 hours. You're insane. No, I'm done being silent. Do you have any idea what they'll do to you? I do, Jungkook said, and I'm not scared anymore. He hung up. He didn't want to hear the rest, the pleading, the threats, the fear. He was done negotiating. The truth had been buried in too many polished press releases, washed away with hashtags and idle smiles. This time, it would scream. The sound of footsteps snapped his attention back. Not from outside. Inside. He grabbed a broken mic stand from the floor. His pulse spiked. The door creaked open. Not an intruder. Not an assassin. Jimin. His bandmate. His brother. His betrayer? You look like shit, Jimin said with a faint, dry smile, stepping into the chaos of the room. I feel worse, Jungkook replied, gripping the mic stand tighter. Jimin glanced around the wreckage. Yoongi? Gone. Maybe dead. I don't know. I heard rumors, Jimin said, eyes fixed on the laptop. You really found it? Jungkook didn't answer. That video, is it real? It's all real, Jungkook said. A long silence stretched between them. Jimin took a breath. I need to ask you something. Off the record. Just as me. Just as Park Jimin. Jungkook nodded warily. Do you want to destroy us? Jungkook blinked. What? You know what this'll do. To the label, to the industry, to BTS, to everything we've built. You press go, and it's not just predators and executives that fall, it's everyone tied to them. Every contract, every tour, every smiling face on a cereal box. Us. Me. I don't want to destroy you, Jungkook said, voice cracking. I want to free you. From what? Jungkook looked him dead in the eyes. From being part of a lie. Jimin's jaw clenched. You think we didn't suffer too? That we didn't see things, hear things? You think we all slept peacefully while Taehyung screamed in the dark? Then why didn't you say anything? Because we had families to feed, because we were kids too, because no one would have believed us. Jimin's voice was rising now, fists clenched at his sides. And because the fans worshipped the machine more than they ever would have worshipped the truth. Jungkook stood. Rain splattered harder outside. Then let them worship the ashes. Jimin stepped forward, face inches away. And if the ashes include us? Jungkook didn't blink. Then we burned together. Jimin looked like he wanted to punch him, but instead he stepped back, emotion twisting across his face like a storm. Do what you have to do, but don't pretend you're not taking us all with you. He turned and left, the door slamming shut behind him. Jungkook sat down again, shoulders trembling. 2 a.m. He had less than 2 hours. The longer he waited, the more the pressure built. Not just from the outside, but inside his own chest. Memories clawed their way up familiar faces, laughter, betrayal, the rehearsals, the hazing, the hushed disappearances. The way they had all pretended not to notice. The way he had once told Taehyung to shut up, to stop digging, to stop caring so loudly. He had been scared then. He wasn't anymore. The laptop pinged. Incoming video call request. Anonymous. He answered. Mr. K's face filled the screen. Calm, clean-shaven, smiling like a man at church. You've made quite the mess, Jungkook. You started it, he replied coldly. Mr. K tilted his head. Do you think your fans will forgive you when they learn the truth? That their sweet boy is the reason the whole kingdom burned? I'm not a boy anymore. No, Mr. K said. You're a weapon, and someone wound you up very carefully. What are you talking about? There's more than one devil in this story, Mr. K said. You think Taehyung was a hero? He had dirt too. He was playing games, selling files to foreign tabloids, blackmailing. You're just the latest martyr in a long line of pawns. You're lying. Mr. K smiled wider. Believe what you want, but remember this truth doesn't save people. It destroys them. The screen went black. Jungkook stared at his reflection in the dark screen, seeing not himself, but all the versions of him the world had projected. The perfect idol, the sweet maknae, the global brand. He was none of those now. He was a man holding a match over an empire made of paper. 8:50, 2 a.m. He logged into the backup servers, checked the queues. Everything was set. 9 minutes to detonation. His phone buzzed. One final message. No name, just a video file. He hesitated, then played it. Taehyung. Not the scared version, not the broken one. This was him laughing, dancing barefoot in a training room late at night, hair messy, eyes sparkling. The camera wobbled. You filming again? Taehyung called off screen. Jungkook's own voice young, playful. You're gonna be famous. Taehyung winked. Not if you get there first. Then he turned serious. But hey, if something happens, if I disappear, don't let them erase me. The video ended. 8:59 a.m. Jungkook hovered over the keyboard. One keystroke. He closed his eyes. Breathed. Typed. Execute. And the world began to burn. The internet broke. Not figuratively, literally. At 9:01 1 a.m., servers across South Korea began to crash. News stations scrambled. Social media exploded. The leaked video Taehyung's final confession, the surveillance tapes, the gag orders, the hidden clauses of Project Eden spread like fire in a dry forest. No watermark, no branding, just pain. Raw, unfiltered pain. It played on loop in silent offices, in subway stations, on public screens, in teenagers' bedrooms, through cracked phone screens and laptops trembling on their hinges. And then the questions began. What is Project Eden? How deep does it go? Who knew? And why didn't anyone stop it? In the first 30 minutes, hashtags changed the shape of trending pages across Asia. Project Eden. Justice for Taehyung. Hype-leaked. K-Truth. Jungkook sat alone in a cab, cap pulled low over his face as the driver murmured to himself in disbelief, one eye on the road, the other flicking toward the dashboard screen where the video now looped again. You see this? The driver muttered. I knew something was off. You can't smile like that every day without something breaking inside. Jungkook said nothing. He could barely breathe. The video had reached 30 million views by the time they arrived in Hanamdong. He slipped the driver a bill and disappeared down an alley, hood up, ears ringing with silence louder than any applause he had ever heard. His phone had over 200 missed calls. Hybe, journalists, Seonwoo, Jimin, Jin, international numbers, unknown ones, threats, pleas. He shut it off. Behind the doors of a small private rooftop flat, Jungkook collapsed to the floor and vomited. His body shook with the weight of what he'd done. Not regret, not fear. It was something harder to name. The first message came at 10:21 a.m. from a whistleblower within another entertainment label, an anonymous email. You open the gates. I have files too. They buried my sister. Then another, a trainee from 2012. Thank you. Then another, a former producer. They said you'd break. They didn't think you'd fight. By 11:00 a.m., Hybe's stock had plummeted 19%. Sponsors began withdrawing. A statement from the CEO claimed all footage was deeply manipulated and maliciously timed to harm both the company and the artist involved. But people weren't buying it anymore. Because truth has a sound, and it isn't always pretty, but it's hard to unhear. Then came the knock. It was forceful, deliberate. Jungkook rose slowly, every muscle tight. He opened the door. Yoongi stood there, beaten, soaked in rain, face hollow. Yoongi! They tried to kill me, Yoongi said, his voice shaking. Jungkook pulled him inside. His lip was split, a gash on his forehead, his fingers trembled, he smelled like blood and asphalt. They came after me last night, Yoongi gasped, collapsing onto the couch. 3 men, black van, no plates, one had a gun. Jesus! I jumped out, rolled into a drainage ditch, crawled for hours. Why didn't you call? They smashed my phone. Jungkook brought him a towel, water, shaking as much as he was. You uploaded it? It's everywhere, Jungkook said. They can't kill this now. They'll try, Yoongi said darkly. You've humiliated them. I don't care. Yoongi looked up, blood crusting on his temple. You should. The knock came again. Softer, faster. They froze. Another knock. Then a voice. Jungkook, it's me. Jimin. Jungkook opened the door a crack. Jimin's face was pale, hair wet, eyes rimmed red. He didn't wait for permission. He shoved inside and closed the door behind him. You need to come with me, now. What? Hybe just held an emergency board meeting. They're not going to the press. They're going to the National Intelligence Service. What are you talking about? They're framing it as an international leak. Espionage. They're saying the footage was stolen by foreign entities using you as a puppet. That's insane. It doesn't matter. It's working. They've already got warrants drafted. Interpol's involved. Yoongi's mouth fell open. They're turning this into a national security issue? They want to make you a traitor. Jimin said, stepping close. They want to take the story away from the victims and twist it into a conspiracy. If they do that, you don't just lose your career, you go to prison. Jungkook's knees buckled. Jimin caught him. Listen to me. You need to get out of Seoul, tonight. No, Jungkook whispered. I won't run. This isn't running, Jimin said. It's surviving. You lit the fire, let it burn, but don't let them kill you before you see what it becomes. Yoongi coughed. I know someone in Jeju. Private land, old studio compound, abandoned, no records, no cameras, you can vanish there for now. Jungkook looked between them. Why are you helping me? He asked Jimin quietly. Jimin's face twisted. Because I saw the footage. All of it. Taehyung wasn't perfect, but he didn't deserve what happened, and because I should have spoken up a long time ago. He paused. And because I remember the night they took him. Jungkook's breath caught. What? Jimin nodded. I was outside the stairwell. I heard them drag him. He was screaming. I didn't do anything. I was frozen. Jungkook touched his arm. You're doing something now. The next hours passed in fragments. Burner phones, cash, contacts, ferry tickets, masks. By sunset, Jungkook was on a small fishing boat, wind cutting through his hoodie as he watched the city shrink behind him. Yoongi stayed behind to keep feeding the press, to protect the backup files. Jimin disappeared again. When the world calms down, we'll talk, he'd said. Until then, stay hidden. Jungkook arrived in Jeju after midnight. The air was different there. Quiet, heavy. The compound was nothing more than an overgrown bungalow surrounded by trees and ocean. He collapsed on a mattress and finally slept for the first time in days. When he woke the next morning, his inbox had thousands of messages. One stood out. A journalist from France. The subject line read, "We've been waiting. We want to tell your story." Attached was a draft of a full exposé, global. Jungkook read the first line. Jungkook, the boy once praised for his smile, just taught the world how to scream. He closed his eyes. Breathed. And for the first time, he didn't feel afraid. He felt free.